Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
Covering both sides of the big issues with the analysis you trust on News Radio 1040 WHO.
Over the weekend, a tweet went viral. Someone got very, very upset that an American Airlines pilot had a let's go. I'm laughing because it's so ridiculous. I mean, we live in a time where people get bent out of shape over absolutely nothing. Anyway, this pilot had a let's go Brandon sticker on his luggage. Well, someone got hold of American Airlines, and then they sent out screenshots of DMs, and American Airlines has apologized, which is very interesting because it's a sticker on a piece of luggage. Anyway, as to what may or may not happen to this pilot, we thought we'd talk to our friend Quentin Brogdon, who is a fellow in the invitation-only International Academy of Trial Lawyers. He's also a fellow in the invitation-only American College of Trial Lawyers and a fellow in the invitation-only International Society of Barristers. That's not bad, Quentin.
Hello, Simon. It's nice to talk to you again. How are you?
I'm very well. Happy New Year to you, sir.
Happy New Year. How are things in Des Moines?
Fantastic. Do you have a Let's Go Brandon sticker on the inside of your wig? I mean, if you are a member of the International Society of Barristers, you have to have a wig somewhere. So do you have a Let's Go Brandon sticker on the inside of your wig?
We don't have wigs on this side of the Atlantic. On the other side, I think they still...
They do. Them. But we don't have barristers on this side of the Atlantic.
Well, this is quite a story, and I think your listeners are going to view it through the prism of whether they agree with the sentiment or disagree with it. But I would suggest a thought experiment for anybody who wants to consider this, in the most objective fashion possible. Just flip the sentiment. If you're pro-Biden, make it anti-Biden. If you're anti-Biden, make it pro-Biden, and see whether it is something you would condone under those circumstances. But regardless of that, the question is whether legally it passes muster, and it will depend upon the union contract that could be in play. It will control the circumstances under which somebody can be fired or terminated or reprimanded. And is this one of those circumstances? You have to look at the contract. The state's laws in play. There are federal laws, but there are also, each state has laws that may govern. And then also, if you're the employer, you want to be consistent about how you enforce things. You can't selectively enforce political, the banning of political signs. You either, I think, need to, and many courts say, decide we're banning all of them or some of them or these under these circumstances, but you can't just pick and choose and ban some and not others.
I mean, I'm not even sure that people should do the prism thing other than the prism of this is the United States of America and we're supposed to have freedom of speech. And this lady that got bent out of shape really shouldn't have got bent out of shape, and she should have figured out exactly where it is that she lives. And, if she's offended by the speech, then that's okay. It's okay to be offended by speech. It's just a remarkable thing for me, completely remarkable.
Well, your sentiment is one that many would support and endorse, and it has an appeal to it. But legally, your employer, under many circumstances where the government cannot, because, the First Amendment, it restricts the government.
Absolutely, yeah.
Not necessarily your employer.
Oh, no, your employer can do all kinds of stuff to you.
That's right. And
yes.
And you have to look at the context of this. I think it's a different matter if someone on their off time when they're not on duty is tweeting, Facebooking, participating in a political march or whatever it may be. That, I think, is harder for the employer legally to touch and to control and to, censor, if you will. But what you're doing on duty, whether you're wearing a T-shirt with a sign on it or a hat or a sticker on your luggage, it is more defensible legally that the employer has some say over that. And I'm not taking a side necessarily on this. I'm just saying, just as a matter of general principle within the law, I think that's
Quentin,
kind of the overriding principle.
Quentin, you're a lawyer. I don't expect you to take a side on anything unless I write you a check.
No. Simon, I enjoy our sparring.
I do too.
It always brings out, I don't know the what in me, but something.
I always enjoy chatting to you. I really do. But here's a nice little subtle difference, right? So if this particular pilot had this sticker on his uniform, that is surely different than on his lunchbox, isn't it?
Well, I think you can certainly make that argument.
You would.
This is luggage. He's carrying on as part of his duty.
Uh-huh.
As part of, he's standing there waiting to get on the plane, I believe is what the scenario was.
Yeah.
A pilot, because he had a Let's Go Brandon sticker on his luggage. So I'm presuming if one of the passengers saw that, I saw the picture of it, that he's on the, not the tarmac, but on the ramp, ready to get on the plane with it.
He probably just had his peanut butter and jelly sandwiches in there. You know that, right? That's probably all he had in the bag.
But he's in uniform, and so there's an argument at least that this is something he's doing on duty. And then you get to, well, should they be able to police this or not? And you can make the case both ways on that. And most people are going to make that case in whatever way they make it based on whether they agree with the sentiment. And all I'm trying to say is to analyze it in a legal sense, you need to try, and it's very difficult to do, to set aside whether you agree with the specific sentiment that he expressed and just flip it the other way. If it was the other way, should he and could he do it? And you may decide to be consistent. And sure, I feel the same way regardless of the sentiment. But some people at least will find that their feelings change depending upon what sentiment's being expressed.
Well, I can tell you categorically that mine do not. I talk about this stuff quite a lot on this show, and I've repeatedly used the phrase, which was not mine, that I may hate every single word coming in out of your mouth, but I will defend with my life your right to say it. And that goes for stuff I agree with and stuff I disagree with, because we're supposed to be a free people. And if you get so bent out of shape that a sticker with a borderline political, by the way, a lot of people just think it's funny, but because of how it came into being in the first place, but a borderline political sticker can get you that upset, man, you should go and see my friend, a psychologist, I think.
Which is a different question than the legal one.
Oh, totally. Yes, absolutely. You're not here for that.
Yeah, there's the legal analysis, and then there's the should we be making an issue about this analysis. Those are distinct.
Have you had a chance to look at the union pilot's contract at American Airlines before you came on and chatted to me?
I have not, and I predict it's a lengthy document that may have been amended on occasions as well. So normally they're not one-page things. They are lengthy documents that specify in great detail union contracts, the circumstances under which people can be reprimanded, suspended, disciplined, their breaks, when they can be replaced, wages, all kinds of things. It's a very, very detailed, lengthy document, and it's essentially a contract that both the union members and the employer have agreed to abide by.
So, one final thing, which is a more practical thing as opposed to a legal thing. I mean, American are not going to want to get involved in this because they got a pilot problem, shortage-wise, to begin with. They're not going to want to lose a guy over a sticker. It's so stupid.
That's right. Businesses are put with, as these political issues and viewpoints and conflicts, if you will, have heated up over the last couple of years. Businesses are put in an untenable position where either way they turn, anything they say is going to, disenfranchise or alienate a certain number of their customers, no matter what they do. So anything that American does with respect to this sticker is going to alienate and upset a certain number of customers. Anything they do. If they do nothing, that will upset. If they say, we forbid this, if they say, no, this is fine, this is okay, we're going to allow our pilots to do this.
You could be right. You absolutely could be right. Quentin Brogdon is somebody we turn to for some of this very specific legal stuff, and we're very, very pleased that we get to do that. He handles a wide range of cases, including employment law. If they can this pilot, he should call you. And if you want to find out more about Quentin, CBR lawfirm.com, cbrlawfirm.com. Quentin, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I always enjoy chatting with you. I really do. We always have some fun.
Thank you, Simon, and take care.
You too. Bye-bye. Take care.